Was that from, not from Lexa, I think it was Hope Faith, yeah. Hopefully that answered your question, right? Hopefully that answered your question about this, right? So yeah, I can't remember offhand all the references. I wasn't planning to go through these, but understand that this is Orthodox Islam. This is not radical Islam. This is incredibly just basic, bog standard Orthodox Islam, right? And the doctrine where they need to, actually, let me just find the Doctrine of Taqlid. They also have to follow a doctrine called Taqlid, which is unquestioning obedience to Islam, right? So let me just find the references to this. I'm busy preparing some work on this. That's too many references. I should have started at the top. Let me just go back to the top. But yeah, are there any questions? Because you retracted your message. Yeah, yeah. So are there any questions from you guys? Because then I can take some questions because I'll probably start winding down at this point. It's actually gone a little longer than I anticipated. Oh, okay. So, to be an Islamic judge, you have to possess knowledge of the rulings of sacred law. Now, of course, the guy in the comment section, the idiot Muslim in the comment section, is not an expert on sacred law. He knows nothing about sacred law. So, now why would his judge have to understand and read these books, learn these rulings, right? And he has to learn it from the primary text and so on. But so he must not merely follow a particular qualified scholar called Taqlid. All Muslims are to follow, to choose, select an imam, a scholar that they follow, and this person tells them what to think, right? So Taqlid is the unquestioning obedience, the following of the regulations of the Sharia. And so the scholar tells them exactly how to do it. So being qualified to perform legal reasoning requires knowledge of the rules and principles in the context, meaning the hadith, as well as knowledge of scholarly consensus. So the scholar must not only just follow blindly, he must actually understand, whereas the average lay Muslim, he just has to follow blindly. Now notice they make a distinction here between the hadith and they say not the sunnah, right? They make a distinction. The sunnah is, of course, the sirah, the gospels of Muhammad, right? And of course, notice here they speak of the nasik and the mansuk, which is abrogation. I've done a show on abrogation. You can check that on my channel as well as on Thaddeus' channel, which supersede previously revealed verses, and the mansuk, which are superseded by later verses. So abrogation is a real thing. Anyone who goes to study, an imam, has to know this. An imam who goes to university to study to become a sheikh or qadi, he's got to know about these things. Yeah. Look at the nations and state. They're as unstable as their faith, precisely. And well, okay. Yeah, what do we have? Shia version. So this is Orthodox Islam, not heterodox. Yeah, this is perfectly Orthodox. That's what that certification from Al-Azhar. Now you will notice Muslims will deny this. They will absolutely flat out deny it. They don't, you see, they cannot tap dance around this. What I've showed you here, they can't tap dance around this. This is clear. This is the final interpretation from their best scholars. They always said, go consult a scholar. Well, I consulted the scholars. The scholars agree with me, not with them. So now apparently consulting a scholar is a bad thing. I'll wrap up the last few minutes by taking this. This is from a book called Jihad al-Kufar, al-Qital al-Fasil, which is Jihad against the disbelievers, the decisive fight. Interesting. Fighting, not eating more veggies. This book is the religious and moral doctrine of jihad by Sheikh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah. What a surprise, this guy again. Right? So let me just skip forward a little bit with this book. So this is Ibn Taymiyyah's book on jihad. The penalties that the Sharia has introduced for those who disobey Allah and His Messenger. And that's you. Right? The punishment of recalcitrant groups such as those that can only be brought under the sway of the Imam by a decisive fight. That then is the jihad against the unbelievers, the kafir. Who's the kafir against? Someone remind me.